Yeah, Mr. Viral Vid, man, we back. And today, we getting ready to take a look at some creepy TikToks that'll have you up at night thinking, and not sleeping. So let's just jump straight in.
Goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
I've had this, but I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And what? Just, you've been on. Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. To be the whistleblower, I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret
symbol of the Illuminati.
and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
But we kind of signed our life away to each other, and legally, and with blood, that there's no possible way anybody can separate or walk away from this.
And I'm very honored to be able to receive this amazing award from the depths of my soul.
Goal is
Hey, at the end, right there, Usher straight up said from the devil. So, I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about the Illuminati. I do believe that there are secret societies. The Illuminati definitely has more evidence to show that it is a real thing than if it wasn't. So, again, like I said, I ain't trying to put on my tinfoil hat right already on the first video, but yeah, it's very possible. And when you think about these Hollywood, people that has been the whistleblowers and telling us what's going on, like Jim Carrey, Cat Williams, you know what I'm saying, Jamie Foxx, like these people have been telling us this stuff for the longest. People just don't listen, But hey,
Jesus Christ, the Adam and Eve video, how much of that is agreed upon? That there could be a time where the magnetic poles actually shift?
This is science. They say that the last one was like 778,000 years ago, and we're like something like 200,000 years overdue. But the Adam and Eve story, the theory of that is that it happens in cycles of 6,500 years, and that it's a 90-degree flip, but 6 days later, or on the 7th day, it corrects itself and planet flips. Correct. It's a planet flip 90 degree, and that because of it, the Earth essentially does a standstill. The sun will basically stay in the same spot, causing heating like we've never experienced, and that the wind and the waters continue with their momentum. So the theory is that when that event happens, it's going to be cataclysmic. And here's the wild thing is that in that document, it says a continental-sized tsunami being 2 miles high. Well, I showed you the Emikusi volcano in Africa, in the Sahara, which is at 11,300 feet, that has salt as well as evidence of gastropods, sea lice.
2 miles high.
I mean, yeah, now this one, look, man, I believe it's possible for anything to happen, but if we talking about, the Adam and Eve story and all of this, again, it's all really up to what what a certain individual believe. Everybody got different, religions and think different ways, but again, do I think that, we are overdue for major cataclysmic event, or a catastrophic event? Absolutely. Right now, if you didn't know, we are in the age of Aquarius, and it's a lot of things, biblical things that were talked about that, is supposed to happen here in the age of Aquarius and in the times that we living in right now, and there's also some other biblical quotes that I can talk and quote about Israel that will have y'all like, yeah, man, we in the end of days. But again, hopefully, all this stuff is just us humans being vulnerable and, believe in anything. And hopefully, none of this stuff ever really happens. But like we know, anything can go down at any time. Let me know how y'all feel about that, Donna.
You know the Mars theory?
That there's aliens on Mars?
Nah, there's a theory that Mars was the original planet that humans were from.
Okay.
Then something happened that we all had to fly to another planet and live on. There used to be like civilization that lived on Mars. Now back this. On Mars, there's an element on the periodic table called xenon. Xenon on Earth is only found, this is crazy, is only found after a nuclear explosion.
No.
Oh shit, that's not even the
This is the
sicko
wrong-
mode button.
I said no.
What the hell? And it goes hand in hand now. What if on Mars there was a nuclear warfare, destroyed the whole planet, but people were able to escape just in time?
Yeah.
Landed on Earth and they had to restart from nothing.
So we are the aliens.
We're the aliens.
What the hell? Yeah.
It's real shit. Like this element's called xenon. It's prominent after nuclear explosion. You know the Mars theory?
Now, this one, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I highly believe that either we are the aliens, or at some point another higher race, higher beings, did come here and tinker, with our DNA. I mean, anything can be possible. You see what I'm saying? When you look at the Book of Enoch, and you read up about the Sumerians and their history, man, it was so much technology that they had back in those days, that again, yeah, anything could be possible. There could have once been life on Mars. Being that Mars is, still pretty much in the Goldilocks zone. It may be, half the size of Earth, but again, I do believe that life can exist in a lot of places, in a universe. But again, I'm no scientist, so don't get me to lie. But yeah, tell me what y'all think down in the comments. Y'all think that we are the aliens, or are there just, tons of different species out in the universe still somewhere? Or are we the aliens?
There's a famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
And it's a painting depicting Jesus.
Okay.
And he's holding like a glass ball, right? Now, usually every single painting, including the Mona Lisa, bro, there's never any mistake to shading or reflection. That's one thing they studied about Leonardo da Vinci. He doesn't mess up.
Okay.
But there was a mistake in the Jesus one. Where he's holding a glass. Because the light is supposed to be depicted from somewhere else the way it's hitting his face.
Yeah.
But the light. Before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys, their phones were being spied on. Click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately. Was hitting the glass ball as if it was coming off of him. No. So that way, he was depicting that the sun is Jesus.
Oh, that's fire. But that's not a mistake then.
It's not a mistake, but they thought it was.
My goodness, that's hard. You was cooking, bro.
There's a famous.
Now, I don't know about this one. Jesus being the actual son. I mean, we know he's the son of God, of course, but now they're talking about the actual son. Again, I'm not about to get in, too deep with religion, but again, is he the son? Like, I don't know, but we all know that. I mean, let's just be real. All of us are nothing but balls of energy. We got so many volts of electricity running through our bodies that people don't even understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, we have static energy. We have electrical energy, electrical impulses that shoot through our brains. Like, we are energy. Everything is energy. So, I mean, hey, look. Again, I'm just going to say anything is possible. But if y'all, tell me what y'all think. Y'all believe that Jesus could be the actual son? Not the son of God. Of course he is the son of God. But I'm talking about the actual star, the son. I don't know. Let me know what y'all
I
think.
have a theory. What if life as we know it is one giant loop? As you see in a video, is of it zooming out from the earth into the universe and the galaxies and everything like that. And we know that the smallest particle is an atom. So what if when you're zooming out, you're really zooming in? Because you're just one big, large body. But when you break you down to your cells on a molecular level, you just get this reality again. Look at this video. Like, isn't that what it looks like when they show the body? Like, look, watch this next part when they get out of, look at that. Nerves. Does that not look like nerves? How is that our universe? It is us. We are the universe, literally. I have a theory.
Okay, and this one right here, honestly, just go back to what I was just saying. How, again, we know that we are completely just balls of energy. We may not be, packing so much energy to where we just gonna combust into a star. But like I said, we are energy. Everything in the universe is a form of energy. Okay. So this could be very, very possible that we might be living in a simulation, you know. And again, for our technology to be where it's at now, and you know, we're making damn near lifelike simulations in our video games and things like that. Just think about a race who is 100 or even 1,000 years advanced, you know, past us. Yeah, it's very possible that they could have, you know, created a simulation and we might be the ones living in the simulation. But we're now, with our technology, we're, like I said, getting to a point where we're making simulations that is damn near realistic. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, anything is possible.
So going back to the moon and anything, how come the first guy who ever stepped foot on the moon, which is without a doubt the most...
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pause this one right here because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I grew up always thinking the moon landing was real. As I became an adult, I honestly started. I don't think it was real. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it 100 with y'all. The whole Stanley Kubrick thing, you know, and how he filmed Space Odyssey, you know, 2001: A Space Odyssey. He did such an amazing job with that movie. You see what I'm saying? I do believe that he had the technology, skills, and equipment to, you know, pretty much stage the moon landing. Now, again, I got my tinfoil hat on, but one reason why I say I don't think we went to the moon and it was all staged is because even our astronauts that's on the ISS, congressmen, I'm talking about multiple different credible sources have already told us that we can't even leave Earth's, you know, general atmosphere. You see what I'm saying? We really can't go past the International Space Station as far as human beings because there is so much radiation between us and the moon. You see what I'm saying? That we wouldn't be able to survive that trip. These are facts, like I said, that NASA engineers and credible sources have been saying for the longest. So if that's the case, how the hell did we make it to the moon back in the 1960s? Oh, dude. Okay.
I've read every fucking theory on how they built those pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza has 2,300,000 stones in it. Some of them they weigh between 2 and 80 tons. Some of them are cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. These things point, that pyramid is shaped perfectly. Like, if you fucked up like a 1/4 inch there, a 1/2 inch here, by the time you get to the top, that thing's a mess. But meanwhile, it's not. It's perfect. It's also perfectly aligned to true north, south, east, and west. And they're not really sure how old it is. They think they date it to 2,500 BC, but that's just because of organic particles that they pulled from inside stones. But they also say that they probably could have sealed those stones and resealed those stones over time. You're dealing with like a gigantic mystery of unfathomable proportion. I've read...
No, I totally agree with him on the pyramids and, you know, Göbekli Tepe, you know, all the Easter Island, all these different, you know, huge monuments that was erected so long ago. And just the fact that they were erecting these monuments and pyramids and things out of pure granite. And we're not talking about a granite-sized countertop that, you know, humans can lift. We're talking about, you know, 20-ton, you know, 100-ton blocks of granite carved out perfectly. You see what I'm saying? Like, it had to be some form of higher, you know, beings here and higher technology. It might even have been giants. You see what I'm saying? Because even the Bible spoke about giants, you know, again, the fallen angels, all of that. So all of this could be very possible that there was a higher intelligence here. They use high-tech equipment like laser cutting, levitation, or the power of actual giants. Like, yeah, because there is no other way that human beings built all that stuff. Not possible. Even with today's construction equipment, it would be a big deal to recreate these things. And that's why nobody ever recreated any of it, because again, it'd take so much money, manpower, and resources to do these things. And then we sit back and we say, oh, humans must have built the pyramids because they don't have no other clue. But like I said, if you really dive into some of this history, like I said, man, you'll find out that, yeah, it wasn't humans that built them pyramids. But tell me what y'all think. Y'all think humans built the pyramids, giants, or another race?
So apparently back in the 1900s, if you asked them, what do you think the world would look like in 100 years? This is something that they came up with. And things like this. In the 1940s, this is what they thought 2011 would look like. But this is important, stay tuned. Now, if you ask people today what they think the world would look like in 100 years, you're probably gonna get a majority of the people saying something like this. But imagine if 100 years ago that they imagined that this would be in 100 years. Imagine what the world would be like now. So why are we doing this now? Why do we think that this is going to be the future? Are we manifesting the correct future by believing in these kind of futuristic images? Or can we change it and start manifesting this kind of future in our minds? I would much rather have things like this. So the next time someone thinks about the future or asks you what you think the future is going to look like, don't think this, think this. And imagine how much we can change the future together with just a simple.
Okay. I mean, I get the whole hive mind, collective mind theory, but at the end of the day, just people thinking the future is going to be like that is not about to change anything. If anything, the first picture that he showed, what people think the world will look like in 100 years from now, is honestly more accurate, especially looking at the world we live in right now and everything that's going on, with all of these wars, all of this uncertainty, every country bickering and fighting, tariffs, I mean, you name it. It's so, hold on. Don't forget about artificial intelligence now, okay? So, again, it's so many reasons why people are basically choosing to say that, in 100 years from now, the earth might look like nothing, because the way we live in and the way we're moving, like I said, something is bound to happen. Again, not trying to get too religious, but again, it's said in the Bible, when enemies surround Israel, we're basically at the end. And again, I'm just gonna sit back, wait and see. But I tell y'all one thing, I'm definitely doing my part as far as stocking up on certain things, which I've always done, but I'm doing it even more so now because things are getting crazy. Things been crazy, but man, this world is headed somewhere that, I don't know if we can come back from. So tell me what y'all think. Y'all think we're going to have a futuristic, wonderland? Or do y'all think it's going to be like that first picture he showed us?
Because you know how I figured it out? What's 1 times 1?
1 times 1 is 1.
To multiply means to do what? To make more, right?
Yes.
Increase a number?
Yes.
Multiply?
Yes.
How can 1 times 1 equaling 1 be part of the multiplication table?
I'm going to stop it right here. Because, again, look, we all know Terrence Howard been on his run lately. And, look, I'm not going to try to take all the credit from him, because the man has said some very wise things, since he's been on his tour of, talking about the beginning of life and all of this. I mean, he's made some good points. But at the same time, 50% of the stuff he be saying had me scratching my head like, man, what is you talking about? But that one right there, 1 times 1 equaling 1, he is absolutely right. To multiply is to add more. So how is 1 times 1 even on the, multiplication table? Again, look, we learned this all the way back, when we was in school. But again, it's a good question. How is 1 times 1 a multiplication? It's not. It equal the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's weird. That's all I got to say.
The world is definitely not ready to hear this. But there is no real picture of the Earth.
What do you mean?
Every picture that's been released that's on Google and or released from NASA is a 3D render. There's only 2 pictures the Earth claims to have in its vault. Let me show you them right now.
You're telling me that my iPhone 3G wallpaper isn't real?
That's the blue marble. The blue marble, as known from popular media and your iPhone 3, this claims to be an actual photo of the Earth from space.
It's claiming that?
You want me to show you the other one? The other one's hilarious. This is the real one, apparently.
What?
It's called the pale blue dot.
Who took that?
I've taken better pictures whenever my phone is in my pocket accidentally, bro. That's what this looks like.
Why do all these pictures look so fake?
If you go through Google, there's not a single one that looks even remotely real.
Don't we have pictures of other planets?
I don't think you're ready for that conversation, bro.
Saturn picture. Okay, that is deep. This is made with
You're
a
really-
PS2.
You're really not ready for that conversation, bro.
I mean, look, we have seen, pictures of Earth or video coverage, of the Earth from like the astronauts that's in the International Space Station. And of course, I think that would probably be the only other actual footage of, just part of the curvature of our Earth, okay? But yeah, every single photo that you look at on the internet of planet Earth, like you said on Google, everything, it's all 3D rendered, okay? They have just made these images look so perfect like they do just with software, okay? Like you said, it's only 2 real images of the actual Earth from outer space. And all the things that we see on Google when we search the planet Earth, or like you said on your wallpaper, all that is fake. All that is just 3D rendered, okay? So again, this is also for my flat Earth, theorists out there. If y'all believe that the Earth is flat, look, that's weird, because we know that, like the sun, stars, we know that other planets are around. So that's the one thing I never understood, is why do people think we live on a flat Earth if we have facts that other bodies in the solar system are round, okay? And clearly our Earth is round, our moon is round. It's just the way.
Are we seeing evidence of giants everywhere and just continue to ignore it? Like this guy who just recently saw a giant peeking through and closing a stone door in some cliff rocks up in Oregon, and he's definitely not the first. Have a look at this. Petroglyph cave paintings all around the world, over 15,000 years old. Giants. Ancient Indian mythology had the Vedas beings, which were over 32 feet tall. In the Old Testament, we got the Nephilim, especially in the Book of Enoch. The Quran had the...
Now, didn't I just mention that? I'm just going to pause it for a second, because like I said, we had the Nephilim, we had giants. This is fact. This is in the Bible. This is in the Book of Enoch. So for all of these different time periods and religions to speak on giants, and they talking about how was the pyramids built and how was, these huge monuments erected on Easter Island, all these things, like I said, it was either giants, aliens, or aliens with special technology like laser cutting and all that. And we're talking about way back thousands of years ago, guys.
People of Odd, a nation of giants. Ancient Egyptians had their carvings and drawings of extremely large people in chairs and carrying megalithic stones. Mayans and Aztecs across the ocean in Central America had their own depictions of towering humans. And the Sumerians, well, they had the Anunnaki, winged beings 12 to 15 feet tall. And I promise that video is coming. That came down from the sky, bred with humans, and gave birth to giants. And this particular story formula here has been repeated in so many of these ancient civilizations' lore. And then we actually started finding them. Hundreds of skeletons of these supposed mythical giant creatures uncovered all over the world, most notably in North America. Found all over the US and even into Canada and Mexico.
Now, y'all see that? Y'all see that map? All giant skeletons found. So again, we don't even got to keep watching this, because I'm trying to tell y'all, like, this is not a coincidence. The fact that we have already found hundreds and thousands of these giant, humanoid bones, basically, like I said, and then with the carvings and the petroglyphs and them holding, and carrying these megalithic, structures. Again, like I said, regular humans couldn't pull this off back then. So it was definitely some, higher being activity happening on the Earth, back then, when all of these big pyramids and things like that were built. But, let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Y'all think, again, did we have giants? Was it aliens with technology, or was it humans? Again, I vote alien technology and giants. But again, the aliens would have been giants anyway.
Whatever the Egyptians were doing, I think they were the most advanced civilization that ever existed. I don't think we could do what they did.
Facts.
The precision in which they built it, I really don't think we can do that. Just the symmetry of the faces of the statues is unparalleled, and they're immense. These are monstrously huge, perfectly symmetrical faces.
Right.
Their temples are insanely intricate.
They were incredibly advanced.
Incredibly advanced.
With math, with science, with technology.
Certainly with geometry. 20-ton gigantic stone blocks that were taken from a mountain 500 miles away. And no one has any idea how the fuck they got them.
Nobody has any clue.
No guesses.
Right.
There's some guesses about, oh, maybe the river system was different back then. Whatever. How are you getting that 50-ton chunk of granite out of a fucking mountain and moving it down, even with modern equipment? How are you getting...
Like I said, even with modern equipment, guys, this is an impossible feat. You see what I'm saying? So, again, we don't got to keep saying it, but yeah, just like Joe Rogan already just said, man, the Anunnaki, all of these beings, it was definitely somebody here, like I said, helping us and actually putting in this work, because it definitely
And it's mostly just a big ball of lava. That's Earth. But 10,000 feet is not a big deal.
Have you given any consideration whatsoever to the flat Earth movement?
I think that's a troll situation.
Oh, it's not. No, it's not. You would like to think that because you're a super genius. But I, as a normal person, I know there's people way dumber than me. And they really, really believe. They watch YouTube videos which go on uninterrupted and spew out a bunch of fucking fake facts very eloquently and articulately. And they really believe. These people really believe.
I mean, if it works for them, sure.
Okay, so, I mean, back to the flat earth theory. If the earth is truly flat, let's just put it out there. Let's say the earth is truly flat, right? And they talk about that ice wall, you know, that's why we can't, you know, see past the horizon, basically. And also why we couldn't just continue in a straight line and then, you know, just come out the other end. You see what I'm saying? Still in the same line that we was walking. Long story short, it has small credibility that the earth could be flat. And the only reason I say that is because if we're looking at it like this, like a flat plane, and our spaceships and rockets go straight up, when we look back down, what will you see? A circle, right? Yeah, you'll probably see a globe. And you wouldn't know that it's flat because you're not looking around that ice wall. You're just looking straight down, which you're seeing a circle, okay? But again, because we know that other bodies in the solar system and in the universe are round, predominantly round, yeah, I'm just not digging the flat earth theory. I'm not a flat earth believer, okay? But tell me what y'all think down in the comments. Y'all think we live on a flat earth, or y'all think it's
Here are some more of the wildest what-if theories. What if we can't breathe in space because they don't want us to escape? Who the fuck is they? And escape where? Where the fuck am I going? Pretty sure we can't breathe up there because there's no oxygen. Simple science. What if everything behind you disappears, but when you turn back around, it reappears? I'm gonna be honest, I've always thought about this, but then I always think about mirrors. A mirror is literally showing me what is behind me. Unless that's what the mirror wants me to think. Lastly, what if, when we die, the light at the end of the tunnel is the light to another hospital room? There we are born, and the only reason you come out crying is because you remember everything from your past life, and you're crying at the fact that you died and lost everything. I'm sorry, excuse me? That sounds completely accurate. I quite literally...
that last one right there, guys. Yeah, I'm a big believer in reincarnation. Again, I do believe in God. I go to church on a regular basis. I got the Lord in my heart. But long story short, I highly believe in reincarnation as well, though. And part of that reason is because Jesus was reincarnated. And if that's the case, yeah, that makes sense why babies come out crying. And I've even had moments in my life where I remember things that wasn't in this lifetime. And I'm not 100% sure if I am reincarnated from somebody else. I'm not really sure. But I have had dreams to where, like I said, I just couldn't explain certain things. And it just felt very weird. But yeah, man. That light at the end of the tunnel that everybody, like I said, claim to see, when they died. And again, we know this because we've had people that actually have died and come back to life. You see what I'm saying? And come back and say it was a light. And for thousands of people that have came close to death and died and came back, a lot of them say the same thing. So it's hard to think that, oh, when you die, the light is heaven. Or what if we don't know what the light is? Let's just keep it 100. So look, I'm just gonna hope and pray that we don't get reincarnated back to this same planet, because this is horrible. We already living in hell on Earth. So I would hate to come back to this motherfucker.
The Great Pyramid is literally impossible. Archaeologists will tell you they could build the Great Pyramid, but it's something that doesn't make any sense. In the Great Pyramid, these chambers are roofed and floored with granite beams that weigh about 70 tons each. And there are hundreds of them, which, to put in context, a 70-ton beam is equivalent in weight to 35 large SUVs. These 70-ton granite beams have been elevated to a height of more than 350 feet above the ground and carefully and precisely placed in position. You can say, oh, perhaps they built a ramp, but then you have to confront basic laws of physics. You can't haul a stone weighing tens of tons up a slope that exceeds 10 degrees. Then you start doing the calculation. How long a ramp do I need with a 10-degree slope to get to 350 feet above the ground? And the answer is you need a fucking long ramp. Maybe the idea that psychic powers were cultivated by ancient civilizations, that they could use powers of the human mind that we have allowed to lapse, maybe that idea deserves further consideration. We hear anecdotal reports of people who have telekinetic powers, who can move things with their minds, of people who have telepathic powers, and our automatic reaction is to just dismiss all of that.
Yeah, I mean, again, guys, it's just more proof of what I was already saying, that human beings could not have erected these monuments, man. Simple, point, plain, done. So we don't got to keep, debating this fact, because, again, everybody know. Scientists, I mean, and I'm talking about some of the world's most, famous and just famous, scientists and famous people that know, that this was impossible. This was an impossible feat for humans to accomplish. And even today, it is still impossible for humans to create these exact type of structures, perfectly aligned with the sun and the stars, and the, symmetry being perfect. And again, using 20 to 70 ton blocks of granite stone. Come on now.
Don't scroll. This shit getting crazy, y'all. These two Chinese nationals just got caught smuggling a biological pathogen into the U.S., y'all. And it's not just any pathogen, y'all. They said this junk can wipe out entire wheat and corn supply, y'all. Like, I'm talking about gone.
Two Chinese nationals have been charged with smuggling a dangerous biological pathogen into the United States. And this pathogen is considered a serious threat to our food supply and thus our national security.
This wasn't no accident, y'all. The FBI is calling it agro-terrorism. They saying they brung this shit over to fuck up our food system. One of the suspects is a researcher at the University of Michigan. And the other one, y'all, that's her boyfriend. They said this man was coming from China. He had the shit in his book bag. And the TSA officers caught that shit. And the crazy thing about this fungus, it don't just kill plants, y'all. This junk can also create toxins that's deadly for animals and humans.
See? And this is what's going on, y'all. Like I said, if y'all don't think, the world is at war, oh, we are, And it's small things like this that let us know that. Because them trying to bring in this pathogen to wipe out our corn and wheat supply, which will also in turn affect other crops that we still are eating, which would affect our health and kill us as well. So This is huge. When we think about warfare, we mostly think about bombs, but no, we got, biological warfare, regular warfare, and this right here, like I said, this is a part of that biological warfare right here. Because if they can decimate our entire corn and wheat supply here, oh, we're fucked. Okay, you better have a bunker packed full of shit already to where you can get away from this shit. Because oh yeah, it's gonna be so hard for the United States to, come back from something like this if this was to happen on a large scale. So you got to be careful out here these days, man. But let me know what y'all think. What should we do with these two people? Should they be in jail for life, or should we find out who's in charge of them? That's what I want to know, because I highly doubt just these two people came up with an idea like, oh yeah, let's go do this to the United States. It's got to be a bigger cartel behind this, and they working for somebody else. But it's scary, man. At the end of the day, it's scary.
This is gonna keep you up while you sleep tonight. The hollow moon theory. Our moon really doesn't make sense when you look at the facts. Like, it shouldn't exist. The moon is about 25% of Earth's size, the biggest moon to planet ratio of our entire solar system. Pluto is not a planet, that doesn't count. That's 72 times larger than the expected average moon to planet ratio of our solar system. Moons are just not supposed to be this big relative to their home planet, but sure, maybe we got lucky. Despite this, the moon is only 1% of Earth's mass. 1%, meaning it is way lighter than it's expected to be, and we really don't even know why. Unless, of course, the moon is either extremely porous like a sponge or a hollow shell. When looking at this data, NASA's own Dr. Gordon McDonald even said himself it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere. But oh, that's just the tip, and we ain't stopping. Our moon's orbit is way closer than that of any of the other over 400 moons in our solar system, and also has a near perfectly circular orbital path. We don't see this on any other planet, which all have moons with wildly eccentric orbits. Our moon also coincidentally appears as the exact same size as the sun in our sky. Despite our sun having a diameter 400 times larger than the moon just so happens to be exactly 400 times closer to us, defying all odds of randomness, but is officially deemed just a cosmic coincidence. The moon also happens to be tidally locked with our planet, meaning its rotational period is the same as its orbital period around the Earth, which is why the same side is always facing us. This one is not so much a coincidence, as tidally locked moons are actually fairly common in our solar system. But it would also be the perfect excuse for the moon to always look the same in our sky, and for us to never see what's on the other side, like an all-seeing eye that never ceases surveillance of our planet. We don't even know for sure how our moon even got there in the first place. The most common explanation is that the early Earth collided with a massive protoplanet called Theia about 4.5 billion years ago, which was thought to be roughly the size of Mars, and the impact caused the resulting debris to coalesce and eventually form the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. There's also the fission hypothesis, where an early molten Earth was spinning so fast that a part of it got ejected out into space and became the moon. The capture theory, implying the moon just drifted by Earth and was captured by its gravity. And the accretion theory, suggesting that as the early Earth was forming in its accretion disk, a part of that disk clumped together to become the moon. But when studying rock samples from the surface of the moon, we find out that none of these theories quite make any sense, with other NASA scientists like Dr. Robin Brett further quoted as saying, "It seems much easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than its existence. Like on Earth, the newest rocks are on the surface, and the deeper we go, the older the rocks get, as we would naturally expect to be the case. On the moon, it's the other way around. Soil samples from the moon confirm that older rocks are on the surface, and they get younger the deeper we go. The only time we ever see this inverse relationship of rock layer depth to rock age on Earth is through human interaction, like drilling, digging holes, and boring tunnels. Did the same thing happen on the moon? If the moon was hollowed out from the inside, this older inner rock would be brought up to the surface, and this observation would make sense. The lunar crust is also thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth and thicker on the dark side of the moon, and researchers still have no idea why. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, much the same as other planets' moons, but strangely, moon rock samples are strongly magnetized. Craters on
Alright, now with this one, guys, check it out, man. Like I already told y'all earlier, I don't even think the moon landing actually even really happened. But just the fact that, like he said, for our moon to be as big as it is not natural. That's the first thing. 2, for the moon to block out the sun completely. How is that even possible that, oh, it's just a coincidence that the moon is just in the perfect spot Nah, I'm not buying it. Hold on. That ain't it. One more thing. And the hollow test that they did when they did a landing, I forgot which landing it was on the moon, but when thing landed, it made the moon ring like a bell, and we're talking about for hours, guys. Okay, the moon was ringing like a bell as if it was hollow. So again, for those reasons, the fact that it's tightly locked, the fact that the our moon actual size is unnatural, and three, just the fact that again, if all these scientists is claiming that we can't even get out of Earth's orbit, then how in the hell did, like I said, anybody ever set foot on the moon? So I do believe that the moon possibly was placed here, and we're talking about a long time ago, of course, but there was a time in history, and this is fact. There was a time in history, written out in the hieroglyphs and stuff, when the moon was not there. The moon never existed back in that time. You see what I'm saying? So for there to be actual historic, writings saying that in this period of time, there was no moon. You see what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, our moon is just right there, perfect distance from the earth, perfect distance from the sun. So perfect. Yeah, it's just too much of a coincidence. And I don't think that's the case. But like always, y'all, look, we're going to continue to bring these creepy TikToks to the, community. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I know I just, started this channel. This is my second channel, actually. Go ahead and subscribe, because again, I'm going to keep these videos coming. We're going to be one of the most lit communities out here. And again, tell me what y'all think about some of this stuff down in the comments. I'll be sure to reply to y'all. And until next time, hey, I'll see y'all then. Peace.